No, I'm just playing. But hey, for real though, I saw this video, Brother Sanchez posted it, and I only let it play like 2 minutes again before I'm like, you know what? I gotta watch this with the people. I have to watch this with my people. And when I say like watch with my people, I mean like watch it by myself and react to it, and then maybe like somebody may be interested enough to watch it with me, or no, watch me watching it and reacting to it, but we kind of watching it together. You know what I'm saying? Watch it with me, but you know what I'm saying.
I cannot believe.
So let's start it. Dear Joe Rogan, she's an archaeologist and the helicopter hieroglyphs. Anyway, let her talk about it.
I cannot believe that I'm about to do this. Hi everyone, welcome back to Dig It with Raven. Today we are doing something that I have sworn off for years, but the universe has pulled me right back into this path of madness, so I've just decided to face it head on. Today, we are debunking Joe Rogan and the helicopter hieroglyphs.
I love to hear about this. If you guys haven't seen this, it's kind of crazy. Basically, the Egyptian pyramids, they found these hieroglyphs in there, and you can see, I don't really have to be, I don't have to be too studied and versed in hieroglyphs to let you guys know that this right here looks to be a helicopter. This right here looks to be maybe some type of wasp or something. This looks like it could be like some maize, some corn. This looks like a boulder with a face in it almost. It's really interesting. This, I'm sure they would think this is like a glider, a submarine, a boat, a yacht, a spaceship, a submarine. So let's see what the archaeologist would say these are.
So this week I was scrolling my YouTube homepage, as one does, and this clip from the Joe Rogan Experience came across my feed. I normally ignore all this ancient aliens stuff, but for some reason I clicked it. It was, you know what, the thumbnail got me. That's what everyone wants to say. I wanted to hear what they were going to say about the supposed helicopter hieroglyphs at Abydos. And unsurprisingly, a bunch of claims were made without anyone doing any sort of research or just basic Googling. So here I am to help you all out. First off, hello Joe. My name is Raven and I am an archaeologist. My qualifications are, I have a bachelor in ancient Near Eastern civilizations where I learned to read hieroglyphs, right here. I also have 2 master's degrees that also focused on ancient Egyptian archaeology and some...
You know what I say when they start saying all this shit? We'll see, bitch. And not because she's with, like, I say we'll see regardless. Like, we gonna see. All these credentials, all this schooling, all I'm hearing is like, if you taught that much, you must have not knew a lot. You know, like, you must have just been able to just be taught some shit in life. You know, like, if you too teachable, it's like, at what point do you discern like what's truth and not? And she got a lot of certificates that means, hey, you can teach her anything
or another. And I personally translated this tattoo on my arm, so I can read some hieroglyphs. I also wrote this book.
Good word.
About lesser known ancient civilizations and cultures, but that's not relevant for today's video. Oh, and you might not have noticed, but I did make a very brief cameo on your podcast episode with Flint Dibble.
If you want to learn how to edit really well from professional Hollywood editors, we're going to show you the stuff that nobody else is teaching.
There I am. So without further ado, let's dig into the clip.
I know. That's what I wanted to go see. But the cool thing was the first temple I went in was what I'd seen on Ancient Aliens, where at the very top of the temple, you have one of the most famous hieroglyphs, which has a spaceship, a helicopter, and a submarine up there. As clear as you can possibly imagine.
Show that.
What the f*** is that? How in that? What is that?
Look at her getting ready, so excited to dispel all of this common sense. She's like, oh, there's too much common sense and logic in the air. Let me put some of my emotions on it. I can just see her like, where can I find more emotions? And I'm just like, logically speaking, like, I could ask my 6-year-old. I don't have a 6-year-old. I was gonna say my 6-year-old nephew, but my nephew's actually 11, like about to be 12 or some shit. Obviously, that's what comes after 11, but you get the fucking point. You know, like, how many degrees do you need to be able to fucking see a picture of a helicopter and be like, that's a helicopter?
Explain that, please. Because that looks like a spaceship, that looks like a submarine, and that 100% looks like a helicopter.
So weird. Egypt is the weirdest place on earth. It
Yeah.
really is.
Because that's why it needs to be.
Yeah.
What the hell's underneath it?
Well, I think that one.
That one right there?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Come on. That's so crazy.
That's a spaceship or a fighter jet.
some kind of a.
That's a submarine.
It looks like a yacht. It looks
Or-
like one of them
that's a
oligarch
boat,
yachts
yeah.
that they keep getting
But that's
pounded.
that's a helicopter.
It looks like a helicopter to
What are we
me.
doing?
It looks just like a helicopter.
Yeah, that was the first
if it's
place I
not a helicopter, what a goddamn
What is it?
coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so right off
What a gosh darn coincidence, right? What a gosh darn coincidence.
these gentlemen are talking about a segment of hieroglyphs in the Temple of Seti I at
Not the pyramid in Egypt. It's a temple. My apologies.
Abydos, which is one of the oldest cities of ancient Egypt. Abydos is also extremely important to archaeologists today because it's home to many temples and multiple
Mind you, I've been to Egypt. I may even drop some pictures if I got enough energy to look through the camera and shit and show you. I've seen some of the hieroglyphs. I've been in there like, yo, it's me and my ancestors, Kush. I don't know if I ever came from Egypt or my people. We don't got to talk about that. It was exciting for me when I got there.
royal necropoli, such as el Kab, which is a vital source of information for early pharaohs of Egypt, and it also gives us the earliest evidence of writing that we have in ancient Egypt. So it's a literal treasure trove archaeologically for the history of ancient Egypt and the development of the entire civilization. The Temple of Seti I, where these helicopter hieroglyphs are found, also contains an inscription known as the Abydos King List, which provides Egyptologists with the order of the Old Kingdom kings and is the sole source that we currently have for the names of many of the kings of the 7th and 8th dynasties. And just so we're all on the same page,
I just wonder what she's wearing. Like, it doesn't. I'm like, is this an undershirt? No, she's just not wearing any bra or nothing. It's cool. It's just a very low crop, and she's killing it. But like, then is it also cut right here? Let's just focus on the hieroglyphs.
Seti I was the second pharaoh of the 19th dynasty during ancient Egypt's New Kingdom. He ruled from around
Sure, it's a vibe, but like, let your elbows up a little bit. You know, you gotta kind of a little stuck. Like, what are you, offensive tackle?
1294 or 1290 BCE, all the way until 1279 BCE. Seti I essentially restored the Egyptian
That's my dog.
Empire after it had been greatly diminished during the reign of Akhenaten, who was the pharaoh who converted the state to monotheism, and he was also the father of King Tutankhamun. Seti I, on the other hand, was the father of Ramses II, otherwise known as Ramses the Great. But let's get back to the Temple of Seti I, which is also known today as the Great Temple of Abydos. Construction on the temple was started in the 13th century BCE by Seti I, but it wasn't completed by the time he died. So it was finished and also renovated by his son, Ramses II. We have evidence that Ramses II changed its original design and placed new inscriptions within the temple. Which brings me to the oh-so-famous hieroglyphs at hand. Let's look at them a little bit more closely, shall we? From top to bottom, it's been noted that this looks like a helicopter, this could be a submarine or a tank or sometimes a yacht. This one supposedly is a spaceship or also a submarine, depending on which interpretation
Supposedly.
look at, and the one at the bottom is a glider. Needless to say, people have looked at this collection of symbols and concocted theories of alien contact or advanced technology that is now lost to time, or my favorite is being covered up by modern archaeologists, because we certainly get paid enough to cover things up.
As an architect working in all 50 states, I don't have the time.
I mean,
If only. And sure, when I was a kid and this sort of stuff would
You got an aura ring. Them bitches like $300. So like, you got a nose ring. You getting paid from somebody. You got enough stickers on your computer, like, where you could start an eBay account, start selling stickers instead.
Up on the History Channel, I ate it up. Mostly because
You have a camera recording the podcast and a camera in the background. That's not a podcasting. I ain't trying to hear that. You getting paid, girl.
it was one of the only sources of ancient Egyptian history content that I had at the time, but also because, yeah, it's pretty fantastical. But when you actually start studying this sort of stuff, you quickly move on from the fantastical to the much more reasonable conclusions that are based on fact. So I'm sorry to say to everyone watching that no, these hieroglyphs are not evidence of advanced ancient technology or aliens. They are, in fact, an early case of whiteout. Other
Did she say whiteout? Hey, we're gonna give everybody like at least 5 seconds to make their point before we cut them off, right? We ain't just gonna hear some shit and be like, no, that don't fit with what I know. Make the point and let's see you back it up.
No, these hieroglyphs are not evidence of advanced ancient technology or aliens. They are, in fact, an early case of whiteout, otherwise known as a palimpsest when it's referring to a similar act in a manuscript where
Let me move this to the other side real quick so you guys can get a full picture too. I don't want to block off anything. Okay, did she say this is similar to that? I don't see one spaceship in here. Whoever whited this shit out did not do a good job. I mean, whoever palimpsest, what did she say?
is known as a palimpsest when it's referring to a similar act in a manuscript where the text has been scraped or washed off in preparation for new text to be written over top. This relief isn't one original set of carvings. It's actually 2 overlapping inscriptions of the official kingly titles of Ramses
That shit actually kind of makes some sense. Well, how was it?
II and Seti I. When Ramses II was renovating the Temple of Seti I, he had someone cover up Seti I's royal titulary and replace it with his own. This is actually very common in ancient Egypt for people taking credit for things that other people might have done, or even trying to erase people from history. But then, over time, as some of the plaster eroded and fell away, it created a weird combo of signs that now look like these modern vehicles. So yes, Mr. Rogan, it is a goddamn coincidence. Let's look at what each carving would have said when it was fresh. The initial inscription made during the reign of Seti I would look like this and translate to powerful scimitar who suppresses the 9 bows, which is their way of saying the enemies of Egypt, Men Ma'atra, which is the throne name of Seti I. Next, Ramses II, son of Seti I, filled that in and recarved it with his 2 ladies' name. Protector of Egypt, who repels foreign lands. Usur Ma'atra Setepenre, which is the throne name for Ramses II. Ancient Egyptian rulers had
Where did these lines go? Where did these 3 lines come from?
Ma'atra, which is the throne name of Seti I. Next, Ramses II
Still didn't use these 3 lines in this boat. Interesting.
son of Seti I, filled that in and recarved it with his two ladies' name. Protector of Egypt, who repels foreign lands. Usur Ma'atra Seta Penre, which is the throne name for Ramses II.
Sometimes if shit ain't supposed to make sense, the shit ain't supposed to make sense.
Egyptian rulers had 5 official royal names in their title, so one can see why you would need to reuse the space, because it would take up a lot of room. This segment that we just read out are the 2 ladies' names for each of the pharaohs, respectively. The 2 ladies are the goddesses Wadjet and Nekbet, who were the protectors of unified Egypt and were responsible for establishing the laws, protecting rulers and the Egyptian countryside, and promoting peace. You can see them together on the crowns of ancient Egypt, and the 2 ladies, or Nebti name, is one of the oldest royal titles in ancient Egyptian history. So there you have it. No mass conspiracy, just damaged walls and age. Just look at the state of the ceiling right above it. It's absolutely no wonder that the plaster fell off with all of that crumbling stone. If you still don't believe me, all you have to do is just shift your gaze a little to the left to see the cartouche, which has very obvious signs of carved glyphs over top of one another. Also, very quickly, while I have you all here, Joe and Aaron talked about the supposed wooden plane that was found, quote, in one of the chambers.
You know, there's a bunch of weird stuff there. A bunch of weird images.
What do y'all think, man? I was sold that this is a helicopter. She really tried to force it to make sure it's not no helicopter no more. I ain't fucking with that now. I really think this is a helicopter. I don't like when people like, you see something and people like, you ain't see that. But what helicopter wing touches the back blade, you know? I don't know, do they do that? But also, a helicopter wing doesn't have an opening right here.
And how about that one plane that they found that was inside? They found like a wooden plane that was inside one of the chambers.
That's totally normal.
Meet Jobber Copilot, your AI business coach, data analyst, and marketing expert in your back pocket. Jobber Copilot was designed to help home service pros confidently...
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, just buried there with the... Yeah.
I'm not sure which chambers you are speaking of, but I believe that you, Joe, are talking about the Saqqara bird. This lovely little bird, modeled after a falcon, is made out of sycamore wood and was mounted onto a stick. It was discovered in 1898 during excavations at Saqqara in the tomb of Pa-di Iman and dates to around 200 BCE. We don't know what the Saqqara bird's official purpose was. It could have been a ceremonial object because falcons were representations for particular ancient Egyptian deities like Horus, but it could have also been a toy or even a masthead on a sacred boat for a religious festival. Some people have seen this bird and suggested that the ancient Egyptians had knowledge of aerodynamics, which would place the scientific development of these principles centuries earlier in the historical timeline. This is yet another object that people use to claim that ancient Egypt developed the first aircraft. Sorry to burst your bubble yet again, but there is no evidence of this, and this little guy isn't even capable of flight. It's just too heavy and unstable. Researchers at the Institute of Aerospace Technology, Bremen, conduct...
She's talking about the bird or the actual piece of wood? The bird is too heavy and unstable? Do you think they're actually trying to find a piece of wood? Like, what?
A computational fluid dynamics simulation based on a 3D scan of the bird back in 2023. And the results showed that the bird demonstrates quote, no ancient knowledge of aerodynamics. Its glide properties aren't sufficient, the center of mass is off, and the lift distribution across the wings.
What if a kid just was playing with a piece of wood and designed a bird? Do you think does that actually mean that they didn't know aerodynamics because they have a toy bird?
Means it would just roll uncontrollably. Though I do have to admit that yes, looking at the Sakara bird from above, it very much does look like a plane. But, in my opinion, so would many other basic carvings of birds. So there you have it. Answers to not one, but two of ancient Egypt's supposed greatest mysteries. Maybe these simple explanations aren't as exciting as the potential for alien contact or advanced technology, but might I point you in the direction of Occam's razor? Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you liked that video, you know what to do. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. Should I do more of these reaction?
No, yeah, definitely. That was very thought-provoking
videos. Let me know in the comment. Big thank you to all of my patrons over on Patreon. If you like the channel, you want to help support the channel, head on over.
I'm gonna just say this, yo. If you don't know how they built the pyramids, then I wouldn't go as far as to say that they didn't have the capabilities and understanding of what flight was and how to do aerodynamics. If we don't know how they built a structure, then why would we say they didn't know how to build a plane? Like, they built a building, and we don't even know how they built a building, which is super. Building a building is easier than building an airplane. We can't mimic them building the pyramid. Even when I got to the pyramids, I still didn't realize how big it was. That's how big it is. You be in the city, you see that shit from hours away, damn near. I think it's like one of the 7 wonders of the world that is still like intact. The only one. It's the biggest man-made structure on the planet, I'm pretty sure. It's literally the most true north structure in the world, I think. I think it's like 0.001 degrees true north or something, like off. Like, I think the White House is, I think they tried to get the White House true north too, and it's less than the pyramids. Like, the pyramids are more precise in their degrees of true northness than the pyramid that was designed when they didn't have the consciousness on how to build aerodynamic planes. It's interesting to think. I would personally not ever go out and say that they didn't know how to do something we know how to do now. I think that'd be very naive to think. I think actually man has fallen since then. I think we got dumber and dumber every year since the pyramids, damn near. I mean, if you look at, like, you know, Mozart was like, a couple hundred years ago, maybe? Not even that long ago. We haven't even done some shit like him. Beethoven, we haven't even done some shit since then. Then you even think before, like, when was Van Gogh? Like a few hundred years? Like, who knows? But, like, we not even doing shit since, like, Picasso was just, like, 50 years ago? I went to the Museum of Picasso in, is it Italy? No, it's in Barcelona, I think. That dude was a nut. I literally was in there just like almost laughing tears, like crying tears. Like, I had no idea he was this dope. I was actually blown away for like the first time in my life. Wow, this is actually amazing. I've never seen nothing like it. Like, it was just paint on, and I was just like, wow. This is what people were tweaking about. Like, I knew Picasso. I knew, like, this is what Kanye meant when he said Steve Jobs is dead. Picasso is dead. Name somebody living. Ain't nobody doing shit. The niggas who built the pyramids back then, the best. Like, can't be replicated. I could make a helicopter today, and I could give it to, like, probably an average nigga in China, and I think he could replicate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that special. It's not that special to put, like, a spinning wing, realize where the point of the center of gravity is, and then combine some gasoline and some fucking, like, whatever it takes to make a airplane go up. You know, it's not that complicated. Moving multiple ton rocks, like I'm telling you, like, think of your school bus. How much does a school bus weigh? Let's check. The weight of an average sized school bus is 24,000 pounds. God dang. Shit. Okay. Can range from 10,000 to 36,000. Let's say it's 25,000 pounds. Each stone block within the pyramid weighs approximately 3,000 pounds. Okay, maybe not a school bus, but like weight of a Toyota Prius. 3,000 pounds. So basically, each block is 2,200. Heavier interior blocks can be 3.5, so that would be 7,000 pounds. Imagine how many blocks in the pyramid. Let's just say on average it's one Prius. They had to stack 2.3 million Toyota Priuses on top of each other in perfect form. They're all carved. You can't even fit a piece of paper in between the cracks, I'm telling you. Like, I've been there. You can't even, these rocks can't even get a paper cut how close they is together. And you want to tell me these couldn't fly a plane? Like, I'm telling you, we can't replicate it. Look at these people. These are two people. Like, you look back, oh, it's like, oh, it's not that big. Then you look like, oh, that's one people. Then you could put one more here. You could put one more here. You could put one more here. 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 I just don't get it. I just don't get how people could be so, you can't even count it high. It's like, wow. But yeah, they didn't have the technology of cranes. They didn't have the technology of this. They used whiteout and chiseled away rocks because they didn't know that if you cut down a tree, you could just even shave a tree an inch and use a piece of wood as to write on. Of course they did. Why do you think their papers is gone? Because it disintegrated. They knew writing on rocks would last forever, almost. It's not that hard, man. Like, I could write some special shit on paper right now. What's gonna happen to it in 10 years? It's probably gonna disintegrate. If I write some shit in a rock, it's probably gonna last for 3,000 years. What would I want to do if I wanted to tell somebody something in 3,000 years? I would write it in a rock. I hope they won't be looking back like, did he have knowledge? Did he know about paper? Did we invent paper 100 years ago? No, doofus. They're going to be like, these people obviously had paper. They had saws and machinery. You don't think these people, or they had mind control. Whatever the shit was, they had some shit more powerful than the shit that people are using right now to build. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you did like the video, like the video. If you want to see what type of goofy shit I'm going to react to next, subscribe. If you want me to react to some goofy shit next, put in the comments. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Yeehaw! Woo! Come on, Camel.
Böyle deep tight on boss. And come this side. Come this side here. This is the king in French. Easy.
This girl, a hustler. Yeah, she a. What the? What the? What the? Yeah! You do this every week. I'm not playing with y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? This girl, a hustler. Yeah, she a.
The king in French.
Bro, I'm in fucking Africa?
Yes.
Okay, say less, man. I'm in Africa.
Speak little English.
Look, ma, no hands. What the?